Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This video is the first part in a series explaining why official alien disclosure may be close, if it is really aliens. The year is 2021. We are already in the future. Are we facing a paradigm shift? Is there another black swan event on the horizon, bigger even than the internet, 9/11, or that disease that's going around? Are the powers that shouldn't be preparing us for the next stage of human existence? It's beginning to look like that would be a yes. If you've been paying attention to the news this last year, you'll have noticed that the official stance has gone from discrediting, ridicule, and disinformation to one of extremely public admittance. Why and why now? It's like there's been a huge U-turn on the official stance. And it's all happened within the last year or so. In May 2021, CNN covered ex-President Barack Obama stating clearly, "What is true, and I'm being serious here. There is footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they move, their trajectory. They did not have an easily explainable pattern." This is the ex-president of the United States publicly admitting there are objects in the skies which they, the American government, have no idea what they are. The report even starts as if it's a joke, then quickly corrects that and our misconception to show the gravity of what Obama is saying. But why now? Why the complete turn of face? This goes against all official protocol we've been subject to since 1960. The Brookings Report, commissioned by NASA in collaboration with the Brookings Institute in 1960, was the conclusion of a think tank of diverse specialists on the subject of human-alien contact in various forms. It concluded that human society as we know it would disintegrate if it was faced with the knowledge that it is not alone. This led to decisions being made that any and all info suggesting that UFOs or extraterrestrial bodily entities were real were to be quashed from high up. Only drunk rednecks see UFOs or get abducted by them. Then there was Project Blue Book and its predecessors, Grudge and Sign. The US Air Force's investigation into strange sightings. This was basically just a smear campaign with the object of debunking, using believable and natural explanations such as the planet Venus or swamp gas for unusual events and sightings. Ironically, Project Blue Book ended up with 701 sightings remaining unidentified out of a total of 12,618. That's a pretty high number, especially when you consider that they really were trying to debunk and ridicule all the sightings. The official conclusion of this official investigation was that UFO sightings were a result of 1. A mild form of mass hysteria. 2. Individuals who fabricate such reports to perpetuate a hoax or seek publicity. 3. Psychopathological persons. And 4. Misidentification of various conventional objects. Blue Book officially ended in 1970. In 2003, the US Air Force publicly stated that there would be no further governmental investigation into UFOs. Well, apart from the well-funded Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, AATIP, between 2007 and 2012. That has been the official stance until recently. And it wasn't just the government or the military. This debunking and ridiculing extended through the education system and the media. Only drunks, loonies, and the tinfoil hat-wearing conspiracy theorists saw UFOs. However, did the US Navy fit into any of these categories? Because not only had they encountered something that officially was the realm of the delusional, but they had stunning cockpit footage of it. Even more bizarre, these multiple close encounter events weren't instantly classified and hidden away in some archive. They were publicly released for viewing. The US Navy doesn't work alone and has to follow official protocol. So who made the decision that now was a good time for the public to be made aware of what was really going on? And, much more importantly, why? But is all this sudden disclosure too good to be true? Carol Rosen has often stated that Wernher von Braun, head of NASA's Apollo mission that put man on the moon, and a man responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of innocent British civilians, including children, with his V1 and V2 rockets, before he died, said over and over, there would be a series of false flag events, or cards, as he put it, which would be used to weaponize space. Russians, terrorists, rogue nations, asteroids, and, finally, aliens. And that all of it was a lie. Let's say for a moment that the old German was correct. We can already tick off several of those on that list without going into more detail. But how would the powers that be fake an alien invasion? Well, we already have the technology. The Project Bluebeam theory is that projected holograms would be used to simulate a hostile UFO fleet. Basically, in a grander version of holographic Japanese pop music bands or giant 3D cat billboards. But the Star Wars program already exists. If the powers that be really wanted to employ a false flag event on a global scale, surely it would be for a better reason than to just get congressional funding for a few satellite-based lasers. Absolute control for the New World Order, perhaps. Then again, von Braun died in 1977. President Reagan brought in the Strategic Defense Initiative, also known as Star Wars, in 1984 because of the Russians. It officially ended in 1993. Since then, we've had terrorists and rogue nations, both of which have had much more effect on our lives than low orbital nukes. Maybe they kept the premise but changed the mission brief. It's just something to bear in mind when we see such important figures as Avril Haines, Director of National Intelligence, who oversees all 16 US spy agencies, including the CIA and FBI, state publicly. Always, there's also the question of, is there something else we simply do not understand, which might come extraterrestrially? Or when NASA's administrator, former veteran, senator and astronaut Bill Nelson said, "Who am I to say that planet Earth is the only location of a life form that is civilized or organized like ours?" Civilized and organized. Or when asked about the US Navy's encounters with UAPs, they're no longer called UFOs due to the stigma attached, former CIA Director John Brennan said, "Some type of phenomenon that is the result of something that we don't yet understand, and that could involve some type of activity that some may say constitutes a different form of life." We have come a long way since Kenneth Arnold reported his sighting of flying discs on June 24, 1947, or the ever enigmatic Roswell incident of the same year. Public figures speaking publicly about UFOs or UAPs. So why the change of heart, and why now? In the great halls, and especially the hidden halls of power, U-turns such as this don't happen accidentally. Meetings such as Davos and Bohemian Grove make sure of this. Some might say that it's because of the work of long-term disclosure supporters such as Dr. Stephen Greer, Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, or the questionable activities of Blink 182's Tom DeLonge. Something is definitely going on, and its time frame has been massively accelerated. There are even theories that the current predicament the world has found itself in since early 2020, or perhaps the mandatory solution to such a problem, may be connected to this revelatory trend. The British government advert from November 2020 does suggest such. Either it's extremely tongue-in-cheek, or it follows the traditional, "we'll publicly let you know what we're going to do before we do it," that is the mantra of the powers that be. But I digress.
As always, be free.